A very good afternoon to everyone. My name is Ganesh. I am a Year 4 accounting student at NUS Business School. And I'm extremely excited to be part of NUS Business School's e-Open House. In the segment we have today, it's called the Meet Our Professors segment, where the aim is to showcase some of the world-class faculty we have at NUS Business School. And we have professors from 4 different specializations here today. We have professors from the Specialization of Finance, Management and Organization, Business Economics and Entrepreneurship. So to all the live audience out there, if you have any questions on these specializations or what learning is like in classrooms at NUS Business School, pop your questions in the chat section and we'll be happy and we'll try our best to answer all those questions. So let me introduce the panel of today. So today with me we have Associate Professor Yo Wee Yong. He's from the Department of Finance. We have Ms. Usas Kalkarawatana. She's from the Department of Management and Organization. And we have Professor Ivan Peng from the Department of Strategy and Policy, and Associate Professor Ng Wei Yi. So while we wait for the live audience to key in their questions, I'm going to give an opening question for all the professors here. The opening question is, what do each of your departments and specializations teach, and how do they relate to the real-world business problems?
Singapore is one of the most important financial hub in the world. And of course, the finance industry offers a lot of great job opportunities and career opportunities as well. So finance is one of the most popular specialization at business school. So what we do in finance is that we always survey the market to see what they need out there. And then we will try to modify, upgrade, and update our modules and introduce new modules so that our students will have a heads up when they go into the industry. That's what we strive to do in the finance department.
Beautiful.
Okay, for us in management and organization, our specialization is in leadership and human capital management. So with all these things, we are all human beings, right? So we need all these skills for our upcoming career.
Business economics is a new specialization offered just in the last year. It was created in response to student demand for something which was not quite full economics, but a stepping stone for people who wanted to do more economics while at the business school. And the idea is to bring economic principles, apply data, and help people make better business decisions and also policy decisions. We envisage that the students who are going to take this specialization are going to find careers in consulting, perhaps in corporate, and also the government.
Okay.
Yeah, and so entrepreneurship is a huge craze, I guess. It's up and coming. It's also a new specialization created just about 2 years ago. And the way we think about it here is there's a huge ecology, a burgeoning ecology in Singapore, and we try to get students acquainted with the ecology as well as tool them up the necessary skills and network to succeed, whether as a manager, funder, entrepreneur. What do you think about it?
So our young people in general are full of energy, and we want to learn a lot of things. I think a few questions from one of our audience, Bob. He's asking, is it common to take second majors in second specializations in NUS Business School? And can we learn more than just one specialization?
Oh, definitely. I think the good thing about NUS is that we are a comprehensive university. And so our programs are very flexible and we give a lot of free space and leeway for students to kind of self-made or tailor-made the program that they want to have. So you can take 2 specialization, you can take no specialization, you can take a second major, a second minor, anywhere under the NUS roof. So you can tailor-make whatever you want to create the kind of curriculum that you want, the curriculum that you dream. So yeah, that's what we do here. We give students the flexibility, or if you want the straight-jacket kind of program, we provide that as well.
Okay. And we also are getting questions about, in terms of specialization and in terms of classes actually, how does the interaction happen between professors and students? Is it only in class, or do you also have outside class consultations? How does it work?
NUS is a place where it's not limited to a didactic of one going to a room, face 20 people. Maybe 40 years ago, but that's not the NUS of even the last decade or the present decade. It's so being a student, being a faculty member, is interacting not just in the classroom but outside the classroom. And an important thing that probably distinguishes our program for others is the field service project,
Yeah.
which is compulsory from all students, which involves teams of students mentored by faculty members going out into the big wide world out there to help real businesses and organizations. It's students get more real world experience and we get to apply the classroom principles, and some external business or organization also benefits from it.
Okay, and we've got a question from Nicholas. So Nicholas is asking, is specialization only in year 3 and year 4, or can you start doing it in year 1 and 2? And maybe a follow-up question to that is, how do you pick your specialization? I mean, I'm a little scared if I am told that I have to pick my specialization in year 1 right away. Maybe.
I think all the students, when they come into the business school, okay, they will do all the basic, the principles of everything. So at least you have time to understand, okay, the whole thing about the business, okay, subjects and all that. And you also will be able to tell, okay, which one that you are really much inclined. It's like, oh, this one I like very much and I want to really specialize in it. Of course, okay, when you have that, okay, you can start thinking about your subject, your modules, you talk to your seniors, you talk to your professors, okay, and all will then be helping you, okay, for your specialization.
Okay. And I've got one more question from my point of view. I think it will be beneficial for students. Entrepreneurship and business economics are new specializations. I haven't really taken them. But as if I were to put myself in the shoes of a prospective student, I want to know how entrepreneurship is taught in classrooms and how is it taught within school?
No, so absolutely. So it is really contrived to say, like go through a set of slides, like what are principles of entrepreneurship. So the most of the courses on the faculty side are taught by case basis. So we look at the cases, we look at examples of what is happening. And then finally, we really focus on the ecology, as I've talked about. So the network that the alumni we have who are in the entrepreneurship, the networks that faculty have, we bring them in, we bring students out, to visit Google Ventures. For instance, I did that with the technology strategy class. We try to be both balanced in terms of what's classroom material and taught in a sort of reasonable way, as well as exposure to what's actually Singapore has to offer.
Awesome. One more question that I thought would be a good follow-up is, what are some of the interesting class projects that you have done in your classes for your students that you think it's worth sharing with our prospective students?
No, so I think, for instance, I teach venture capital and technology strategy, and it never ceases to amaze me like what students find. So one of the projects is actually to pick startups, for instance, and assess their technology and strategy around it. And you start to learn the many things that's happening, not just in Singapore, but also on NUS, things like NUS Enterprise, the incubators around, and there is really a lot, and the students uncover a lot, and eventually they contribute to the startups themselves, and you get emails from the startups saying how appreciative they are of the class, of the students. It's just immensely enriching, and I find that very fulfilling.
Maybe Ms. Usa can also
Yes,
share.
okay, for us, because we are doing leadership. So to teach leadership is not like I teach you that you become a good leader, but you really have to practice it. And that's why in one of the projects I asked my students to do is to have their what I call the 10-week challenge. It's a 10-week leadership challenge. And you challenge yourself week 1. Okay, you monitor yourself, you do a journal, okay, and at the end of the week 10, you then reflect again and with the whole process, what I have done, have I finished or have I complete or have accomplished, okay, the challenge I have put up at the beginning. If I have done it, what I have done right. If I not done it, what is it I can do better next time round. So from there on, there will be also action plan, follow up from there on. Okay, and so therefore, it's very, very practical. It's really much something that you have to do yourself, okay, as a student.
Thank you. Prof, would you like to?
We do a lot of very interesting projects. We do things such as fintech, we do things such as big data, but in this political climate, one thing comes to mind because this is probably going to be the election year, and during election year, a lot of people will be talking about CPF. And CPF is very important financial institution. It's very important as far as personal finance is concerned. So out there you have a lot of views, some information, some misinformation, some even fake news. So what I do is I let the student do a project on the CPF and the healthcare system, and let them survey the whole world, find one that's out there that you think is the best system, and compare that with what we have in Singapore, and then judge for yourself, whether our system is good or bad, so that they will not be they will not be misinformed when you go to the media and listen to so many different views, so they can tell for themselves. And one thing I always ask them to bear in mind is that you have to balance between costs and benefits, right? You cannot demand to have the best everything out there. You want to have everything, but yet you don't want to pay the cost. So in life, everything is a package deal. So you compare what we have here as a package and with any other packages out there, and then tell for yourself, judge for yourself whether we have a good system or not. So I think that is a pretty interesting topic, especially in this political climate right now.
That's very interesting. Thank you all for sharing. One thing I was thinking about, back to specializations. When I was in secondary school and junior college, when I pick subjects that I want to learn, there is some kind of filtering process, a selection process or grades. Celine here has a question. She's asking, do we have such kind of tests before you pick your own specializations? And I think the essence behind that question is, like, am I guaranteed that I'll get to study what I really like in NUS Business School?
At least for the business economics specialization, there's no, we have a curriculum with a set of core modules, 3 core modules and 3 electives. The 3 core modules are open to anybody. Anyone who wants them, take the 3 core modules, and that's gateway into our specialization. There's no rigid gateway other than that.
Yeah. Okay. We don't have any quotas. Anyone is free to choose. I would describe what we have here as a big spread of buffet, and it's really free for everyone. You just pick whatever is, you're interested in, and tailor-make your program. Yeah. So there's no quota. We don't have admission tests for different specialization. Yeah. So it's really your interest and what you're interested in.
I can attest to that because I'm an accountancy student, but I'm interested in all of your departments. So I've taken modules in all of your departments, and there was really no selection criteria or grading to pick modules from each of the departments. I think one more question that I think is an easy question from my point of view. It's, what makes NUS Business School different and unique?
Honestly, I think the students themselves. I think the students are amazing. So I want to say that I learn as much from the students. Like, I do a lot of case discussions and from tutor projects as much as they learn from me. So I think that's huge. Like, the quality of students that we get are on par and really world class, in addition to whatever NUS has to offer.
So I would endorse that. I've taught in the US. I was a professor there for almost 10 years. I've been a professor in Hong Kong for 3 years, and then coming back to NUS. I can attest that our students are the equal of anywhere else. A real pleasure to interact with.
To add on, I think we have alumni, okay, and also together with the professors. And I think it's a whole thing, the whole package that we offer to students. The connection that we have with the business world, the leaders and all that, I think that's really good for students. At the end of the day, you'll go out to see someone that you know, okay, and so it's connections.
It's not a marketing slogan, but I would really want to say is that we have top-notch faculty here, we have top-notch program and top-notch student. That's what makes this NUS Business School so interesting. It's definitely not a marketing slogan, and I believe it wholeheartedly.
I'm really happy when the professors are talking about students because I'm part of them, so they're complimenting me indirectly.
Exactly.
And one more thing, I can agree on the alumni part because NUS has a long history. And one of the little experiences I had was interacting with the head of Asia Pacific LinkedIn, Mr. Frank Koo, up close, personally, one-on-one interaction. So that's the strength of the NUS alumni because of its rich tradition. And I get, as a student, get these kind of opportunities. I think we've got one more question from Ray Chun. Ray Chun's asking, what is the percentage of people like specializations in NUS Business School? What's the most popular, and what's not so growing in intake kind of thing?
I think the dynamics is always changing, but typically probably about 50-60% of the students who specialize in finance, and then followed by marketing, and then I believe it's pretty fair share. But as you know, Singapore is a financial hub, so a lot of students are very interested in finance. So that takes up slightly more in terms of the percentage of the students. But I believe, whichever specialization you take, the sky's the limit.
Let me add also that last year was the year we added some new specializations. So the distribution is numerically is sure to change.
Yep, exactly.
That's one. And the other thing to emphasize is that our curriculum is sufficiently broad for people to have 2 specializations if they so choose.
Prof, I just want to tap on the point you mentioned earlier. So in the sense that it's changing dynamics every year, does that mean that in 1 year, if I have more finance students interested in finance, the courses or the resources will be allocated more to finance to cater that need?
We always have sufficient capacity to take in more students. So I would not say that we have a lot of slack, but professors, we are willing to take on more classes. And we have the resources to launch more classes, expand our class size, not as in number of students per class, but more classes, so to speak. So I believe we have the capacity and we have the zeal and perhaps the interest to make sure that our students' needs are met.
Okay. And one question to round up today's discussion is, what advice would you give to prospective students coming to NUS Business School? And who do you think fits the NUS Business School culture? Maybe Ms. Usa can.
Okay. For me, I'll tell students that come in, be happy, enjoy your study here, but at the same time, okay, take control of yourself as well. Because sometimes students come in and they really enjoy themselves to the max. And then they come to class. It's okay, okay, from time to time, okay, you enjoy your life, but then take control. Okay.
I think there's a lot of pressure to decide what specialization, but it's a university. You're here for an education and to learn about things. So keep your options open, and I think we're here to sort of facilitate that journey, that navigation, that sort of self-discovery, if you will, that you think about your career and moving on forward.
I would emphasize that NUS, again, is a very big tent.
Yeah.
And we have students following many different paths, all equally worthy, all where they can realize themselves. So we will have students who are going to follow very specialized routes, and others studying very broadly, sampling from different places. I had a student a few years ago who was very interested in psychology. So he was at business school and then he did a minor in psychology. And we will have people doing Chinese studies. There are many, many routes, and then others will be interested in case challenges, and some will be interested in exchange. We have room for all of these in the NUS. What we want is we provide a platform for people to grow.
Thank you so much to the panel for answering our questions, and thank you to the live audience for tuning in and asking questions. I do notice that there are some questions on specializations and minors and electives. Do feel free to pop your questions in the comment section, because we've got a dedicated team to answer your questions by the end of the day. And if you're interested to find out more about the other specializations, like marketing, data analytics, and supply chain, then stay tuned for our next segment at 5 o'clock for the Meet Our Professors, where you get to hear more about these specializations. And if you're interested to learn more about accounting as a degree, accounting as a career, then stay tuned for the next segment coming up in 10 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us. With that, my name is Ganesh, and together the professors at NUS Business School, we thank you for joining us, and we wish to see you at NUS Business School soon. Thank you.
Thank you.